Being from a farming background really has helped me to have that real life empathy and that general understanding of the challenges. I sort of often say I celebrate and suffer alongside the people I choose to serve through my own farming experience and through theirs. I think depression and mental health is probably one of the biggest issues as a rural community, as an agricultural community that we are dealing with, beginning to, but that we have wrestled with and we have tried to ignore for a number of generations. Being a farmer myself, being a 7th generation farmer, we've always farmed down the border. I think there are lots of issues that arise perhaps from the caricature of a person that finds himself being able to sustain in what's a challenging industry. You know, we're not very good at asking for help, we're not very good at looking vulnerable. We don't really like to think of our neighbours, you know, looking over the hedgerow thinking what a hash we're making of farming our land or of keeping our stock. In my early 20s, I had a period of a number of years where I suffered with depression myself, and I'd always had a great empathy for people who'd suffered in that way. But I think there's more of a recognition of how damaging sort of stress-related illness can be and depression if untreated, undiagnosed, unrecognised or ignored. You know, we sadly see that all too often in the community here and through the chaplaincy work we do across the counties. Borderlands Rural Chaplaincy, David speaking. There are times when being in ministry is very difficult. There are times when there's so much to do as an agricultural chaplain, you feel spread thin, and those are the times, you know, you rely on the team that God's put around you.
Lord, thank you for the opportunity to meet. Thank you for safe journeys. Thank you for friendship. And we ask your blessing on all that we do and discuss and decide this morning. Amen.
Amen.
I've been an agricultural chaplain since the mid-1990s. I suppose what got me into it was, at the time, high suicide rates amongst the farming community, and I chaired a national working party with my NFU hat on, which included organisations like the Department of Health, the Samaritans, the Church, Royal Agricultural Society, and we were trying to address the question why there were such high rates of suicide and what we might do to alleviate it. So there'd been very little follow-up with the farming community to say what was causing it. And the research that tended to be done at the time was either to go to agricultural shows or to send postal questionnaires out to people. And the difficulty was that farmers who tend to go to agricultural shows are not the ones who are isolated, and people who tend to be depressed don't answer questionnaires. I, in common with many agricultural chaplains, have known farmers who have taken their own life. I don't think there's any agricultural chaplain anywhere who doesn't have personal contact of that. It's difficult to say what could have been done. I certainly know of situations where if you're able to take the gun away, for example, typically it's a gun, you can buy time. What you're usually dealing with, though, is a family that's been wrecked. And so you're dealing with the emotional turmoil left behind from someone who's taken their own life. That's always one of the toughest situations to try and come across. It's more than just a normal bereavement situation. And of course, it also has implications for the farm business as well often, and they may not have left a will, or the business might be in their name. So there's a whole raft of things to untangle. And again, the advantage of being part of a network is that if necessary, you can access the expertise needed to help support them.
How's the TB been in the area, John?
Well, it hasn't been too bad, you see, because it's a big sheep area, and
Yeah.
so that. But saying that, I'm told, between Bishopscastle and Clon, 1,000 cows have gone. They're not necessarily to be, people are giving up suckler herds.
We could both have a good moan about the dairy prices at the moment, couldn't we?
Price at the moment is,
John,
is bad. They're just about able to scrape a living at the moment, but the thing is to the future. You see, if you're not making a profit, you've got no money to invest. You've got to have money to invest for the future. And what happens is, as farmers get older and the machinery gets older, and they say, oh, you had enough of this.
Thursday the 8th.
I've been an agricultural chaplain for 3 years. I volunteered at Luston Methodist Chapel. I want to do something outside the church. Having been connected with agriculture, I thought perhaps I can help a few people out there. Farmed for 35 years on my own as a dairy farmer. The farm was getting too much for me. I was in my 50s and it was uneconomic for another family to take a living out of it. Very, very difficult day selling the cows. I think everybody shed a lot of tears that day. The farmers that I'm now helping, I believe I've been through the same things that they are facing. One person I'm working with at the moment has had a court case brought on him for unpaid bills. I'm now supporting him with that court case, working through his solicitor. I went to meet him the other day. He was feeling a little bit down and he asked me to pray with him, which meant a lot to me, and he said it meant a lot to him. I left feeling very humble.
Sometimes you can do nothing more than leave the farm, drive down the farm track and prayerfully give that situation to God.
I had a great interest in the Borderlands chaplaincy because I am a farmer's daughter. Part of my role as a reader, I was asked to go to the Three Counties Agricultural Show. And I went there and I met David Watkin. My role also is the administrator for the Borderlands team.
Good afternoon, Borderlands Chaplaincy.
The help that I give for the farming community, I feel, is a listening ear. And that is what's so important, because wherever they might live, they are isolated. They're out in the fields or they're on the tractor. They've got worries about various things that are going on in the farming world. We don't have all the answers, but we might be able to help with somebody who can help a certain problem. We can point them in the right direction.
Okay, thanks very much then, thank you.
Everything we do, it is completely confidential. If there are any serious worries, then we can consult with our fellow chaplains to see where we might go from there.
I'm semi-retired from a life of working on the land. I've spent about 25 years as a farm manager, and for the last 19 years I've been running along with my son an agricultural contracting business. I feel it's good that I can use some of my time and my experience as a farmer to talk to other farmers. And I'm delighted, because I'm a Christian, that I can do it through Borderlands. As a Christian organisation, I can take God's love into the farming community. I'm currently visiting the Shrewsbury livestock market pretty well every Tuesday to get to know some of the I know some of the farmers, but a lot of them I don't know, a lot of the livestock men I don't know, and I'm there just offering a presence with my badge on so that people know who I am. A lot of people come to me and say, "What are you doing here? Have you come to sell me some lime?" I say, no, it's not about that, and that gives me an opportunity to introduce the chaplaincy and what I am trying to do. Visiting the livestock market for me initially was quite difficult because I've not used livestock markets for many years. I go around the various sales rings and see what's going on, what the prices are doing, so that I can then talk to people, some of the people I know that have been selling stock, and I can talk to about what they've sold and how well they've done and how depressed the market's been and all the rest of it. I've come to see about the chaplaincy.
Excellent.
You know, we're operating in the south of the circuit,
Yes.
around Hereford. What we're trying to do now is move the chaplaincy work up into Shropshire.
Good.
Specifically, as you know, for farmers and their families.
A lot of contacts come through church connections. A local vicar might pick up a farming family in difficulty and think that bringing in a specialist might help. If, for example, it's a particular issue to do with the dairy industry, we can bring in dairy advisors who will be sympathetic to the farming family's plight.
Hi, David.
Hi Janet, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, good,
Nice
thank
to
you.
see
How
you.
did you get on the weekend?
Fine, thanks.
Good,
Yeah.
well done.
And you?
Yeah, good, thank
time?
you.
Good.
And what are the boys up to? Digging the lawn up?
Digging the lawn up, yes. Yeah, we've got the sheep ready to start lambing in March.
Yeah, you culled them a bit harder this time.
Yeah, we did,
summer.
yes, culled them.
A bit harder?
Yeah,
Oh, well done.
a few less to cope with this time.
You could do with a few ground frosts or something just to
We
dry
could
it up a bit.
dry it up. It's very, very wet underfoot now.
Yeah. For me, as a farmer, as an agricultural chaplain, the two most important parts of the nativity story are the stable and the shepherds. I'm not biased, am I? And who'd have guessed? But it may seem like circumstance that night led to there being nowhere else but a stable for that baby to be born. But you know what? God hand-picked that place and chose those shepherds to be the first people to see and greet Jesus. I think being a good agricultural chaplain, it has to start pastorally for me. A big part of the role is recognising that you might not always, as an individual, even as a team of chaplains, be able to fix an issue. The whole idea of journeying alongside someone is very key to chaplaincy, being able to signpost people to the appropriate help. I think a lot of people are completely unaware of what organisations, charities and facilities are available to help them with the issues they might be facing. A big part of my role and our role as a team of chaplains is to have an acute awareness of who these people are in our local context, and also our networks work at a national level as well. Being able to help put the hand of the needy farmer in the hand of the professional is very important.